one of my favorite tracks. Hello everyone, good afternoon, good morning, and good evening. It doesn't really matter which order I do it in. So, I'm super excited. I'm actually more excited about today's episode than last episode, or yesterday's episode, because I really don't have any idea of what we're going to actually play. I never know what I'm going to play in Star Citizen, especially given only 2 hours. Except for Friday. Friday, I know exactly what we're going to be doing, because we're going to be doing some more market research on the new Jump Point Gateway stations with the Hull Saint. Super excited for that. So, like, just general gameplay. I don't know what to do in Star Citizen, because I'm waiting for, I'm waiting for technically with 3.21, because then I'll be able to do normal trade routes with the Hull Sea. And waiting for bunkers and the new platform mission. So basically just waiting for a lot of stuff in 21, and then in 4.0. So, what today's is, and that's probably a little loud. It's gonna eke that, well, we're gonna eke that there, and we're gonna go to here, and we're gonna turn that down here. So I can have peace as well as you guys. It's probably a bit low for the stream. It looks fine. All right. So today is what I'm actually calling Origins. I'll have to go back and fix the old ones. So Star Citizen Origins. We have been going through the original Kickstarter from 2012. And not just going and looking at the page, because some things may have changed and whatnot. We were actually going back and looking at the page as it was using the Wayback Machine in 2012. I believe we are either mostly done with that or all the way done with that, and we'll be doing some other stuff to do with the origins of Star Citizen. And then once we get through a bunch of the stuff, we are gonna eventually go into like all the old ISCs and things and watch all those, and basically watch all the way up to current date. So we're gonna be digging through the entire historical past, so I know every little bit of content there is possible to know about the posts that have gone out from CIG. So we'll be digging through all of that stuff in time. We're also going to go back. We're going to go back and we're going to play through the Wing Commander series, Freelancer, and any relevant game having to do with any of the developers currently building Star Citizen. We'll look at art station posts and basically anything to do with anything we have on any of the developers that they have put out into the world. So we know more about these people that are building this amazing game that we have, and that we are continuing to have. So let us get going. That is game. We want desktop. There we go. Let's get into what exactly we're going to be doing for today. I don't want to use that. I actually want to use this. I find myself I'm accidentally slowly moving back to Chrome just because I like how Chrome works better. Sorry. All right. Where did I actually put the Kickstarter? Is that on one of these pages? Oh, they're slightly different. This how the Kickstarter. Okay, I have a whole bunch of other stuff on here. All right, so here's where we'll start. Here is the Kickstarter. All right. I also want to bring over that to that. There we go. And now you guys can see chat screen as well. All right. Perfect. Let's get out of that. All right. So we read this post. We went through a couple of the stuff on the reference videos about the first videos on the Star Citizen YouTube page. There we go. I can read. Oldest. So we went through and watched some of these. We still have that one and a couple of these older ones. Oh, the original Freelancer. I don't want to watch the Wingman and Hangar ones because like all of these videos down here super cringy. Zane. So this is gonna be interesting. But before we dig into that, Kickstarter. All right. Did we go through all of these? That is a great old question. I know we went and got through the MMO. I know we went through that one. We went through that one. That one. Pretty sure went through that one. Went through that one. Email. Languages. Pretty sure we actually did finish these. Can you explain the stretch goals? The purpose of the higher stretch goals is to ensure that the game, as described, is finished in 2-year period. Yes, we did read this one. We intend to build the game Chris Roberts described at the GC Online regardless, but without additional funding, we are going to have to do it. We're going to have to do it one piece at a time. There we go. Starting with Squadron 42 rather than a single large production with more funding, we could include more ship systems, unique locations, animations, and cinematic sequences. Thank you for the following. Oh boy. I have no idea how to split that one up. Arabella Christian one? That's what I'm gonna go with. People with these mile-long names. Welcome. I wonder if that's... Okay, let's see. Why no direct publisher? No, we didn't cover this one. Publishers are useful in the old physical distribution world, but the internet is a great equalizer. Notch... They even bring Notch into this. Notch didn't need a publisher to reach 20 million Minecraft fans. Riot Games didn't need a publisher to reach 30 million League of Legends players. And Wargames.net didn't need a publisher to reach 20 million World Tanks gamers. If we were building a big AAA console game, it would be crazy to try without a publisher, because consoles is a lot like, or at least I hear, I'm not in either of the industries, so like a lot like theaters and real estate. You have to know somebody who like obsesses about that area to get into that area. So getting a game onto a console is actually much harder. And that's why most console games... Yeah, I think we gotta say most. I don't know. I don't have any quantifiers for this, so it's just my opinion, I guess. Most console games are first-party games, especially now. Why is it every time I start going live, my nose itches? No idea. But we want to build a PC game, and a publisher increases cost because of their need to recoup their sizable overhead cost. We want to make sure all the money raised goes directly to the development of the game. So we're throwing ourselves on the mercy of the PC gamers out there and that share our vision and passion for the platform and the space combat genre to raise money outside of the cartel of traditional publishing or publishers. The game will cost less, be more creatively pure, and most importantly be built for the real core audience, not some corporate suit worried about including all the casual gamers. Let's see. Is Star Citizen free to play? A subscription. To play Star Citizen, you need to buy the initial game. There will never be a monthly charge or for usage. And some in-game items may be available as microtransactions, but we will never sell anything that cannot be acquired through honest and fun gameplay. This is actually something they've been working on over the past 2 years even, to make sure all like sub items and things are in the game and can be looted. So, cool. Very nice. What will the gameplay be like? Star Citizen will feature gameplay similar to the original Wing Commander and Privateer. That's actually Squadron. With more realistic physics systems. This means that it is not a click-to-kill interface like most modern MMOs. Your success in combat is going to depend as much on your skill with a spacebar as it will with your ship's upgrades and your pocketbook. Oh, I guess like upgrading your ship in-game. Can you estimate the system requirements for Star Citizen? They'll need a lot of optimizations in the next 24 months, plus the usual fast pace of technology, so it'll be hard to say absolutely. At the moment, you will be able to play it on a dual-core PC. Wow, that's wildly out of date. GTX 1660 or greater and 4 gigabytes of system RAM. Wow, they had lofty goals. If you are running an i7 2500, 2600, 2700 or better, a GTX 670 or greater, then the stars are the limit. Since the game is built for CryEngine or on CryEngine, their system requirements will stay roughly the same as ours. And that is the bottom of the page of the original Kickstarter. So we have one update. Wow, we have lots of updates actually, because we're going to be going through these updates. Because these updates, all 61 of them, because we're looking back at this, and this was only as of October 20th. There's already an update. So lots of comments, lots of background. So we're going to be going through all this. So let's go through. Is there a list that I can pull up with these? No, we're just going to read them from the. Can we? No, it just reloads the page to something else, or it doesn't, or it just breaks the page. We good now? Got it. Okay. So, pledge for $5 or more, the Kickstarter. The Electro Skin Hull enhancement for existing Robert Space Industry ship owners can switch hull appearances at a flick of a switch, including a special skin to show that you backed twice. I have no idea what that means. I don't even know if that's like anywhere near like something that's ever been in the game. Interesting. Civilian. Be part of the creation of the game. Every pledger reinforces the space sim that space sims are not dead, and nor are PC gamers. $30. Scout. A digital copy of the finished game with your PC. For your PC with an RSI Aurora spaceship ready to fly, 1,000 galactic credits, and exclusive access to the beta white Star Citizen cards physical reward. Digital Scout. A digital copy of the game, Aurora, 1,000 credits, exclusive access to alpha and beta. Digital tier, no physical rewards. So you get a physical citizen card and beta, or you get no citizen card and alpha. Interesting. $40 Mercenary PC game and Aurora, 1,000 credits, exclusive access beta, and the citizen card, white citizen card. Let's see, we get digital copy. Oh, Bounty Hunter, we get the copy of the game. Origin 300i, 2,000 credits, access to alpha and beta, copy of the soundtrack, digital copy of the map for the game universe. Digital 42-page Star Citizen manual, green citizen card. Colonel? Yeah, Colonel. The finished game for your PC with an Anvil Hornet ready to fly. High-end spaceship focused towards dogfighting combat. 5,000 credits, exclusive access to the alpha and beta. Spaceship USB stick with the game and digital elements. CD of the game, soundtrack, fold-up, glossy, full-color map of the universe, hardcover copy of the Star System manual, bronze citizen card. $125. Freelancer, the finished game for your PC with a MISC Freelancer. Ready to fly, high-end focus on trade and exploration, 5,000 credits, exclusive access to alpha and beta, spaceship-shaped USB stick with the game and all digital elements, CD of the game soundtrack, full of glossy map of the universe, hardcover copy of the Star Citizen manual, and same bronze card. $250. Rear Admiral, finished game, finished game, top of the line RSI Constellation, top of the line, huh? 10,000 credits, exclusive access to alpha and beta, USB spaceship stick, all digital elements, map, set of 5 ship blueprints. I have no idea what that means. 3-inch physical model of your ship in-game, or in-game ship. hardcover copy of Making of Star Citizen, including loads of behind-the-scenes images and info, prelim concept art, development stories, silver systems card. 500 Vice Admiral finished game, top of the line constellation, 15,000 credits, alpha and beta spaceship, USB stick, all digital elements, soundtrack, map, 5 blueprints, in-game model, hardcover of making of Star Citizen, including loads of behind the scenes images, prelim, concept art, and development stories. Gold system card. 1,000 High Admiral. Finished game, constellation, alpha beta, 20,000 credits, USB stick, all digital stuff, CD game soundtrack, full of glossy map, 5 ship blueprints, 6-inch model of your spaceship, hardcover of Making of Star Citizen, 30-minute video conference with Chris Roberts to ask him all the questions you'd like, and the platinum card. 5,000, so this is... We go from 500 to 1,000 to 5,000. Exponential, I see. Let's see. Space Marshal. Did I say what that one? Yeah. Space Marshal, the finished game. Constellation, 2,000 credits. Alpha Beta Access. Spaceship Shaped UXB. All digital elements. CD of the soundtrack. Full of glossy map. 5 blueprints. 8-inch painted model of your in-game ship. Hardcover copy of Making of Star Citizen. Spend half a day with Chris and get all the details on development. Black Citizen card. Wing Commander, the finished game. RSI Constellation, 20,000 credits. Custom skin for Constellation spaceship. Name your spaceship after you if you want. Alpha Beta Access. 1 million mile high club ownership. Invite your guest to your private club in the game. Spaceship shaped USB stick, all digital elements, CD of the soundtrack, glossy map, 5 blueprints, 10-inch painted model of your ship in game or in-game ship, hardcover the Making of Star Citizen, and hang for a day with Chris Roberts and key peeps on the dev team. Titanium platinum card. All right, that is what the page looked like in 2012. So we're going to go all the way forward and we're going to look at the 2023 edition. This was last updated, oh wow, way back in 2013. So it hasn't been touched since 2013. So did they add any? Oh hey, I can hit details now. Hey, look at that. Okay, they say over there. I thought they were supposed to say over there. It doesn't actually say that much, and it goes exactly the same amount. This is the one that's all gone. Alright. So, we're going to go updates. Does it go last to first? No, it does not. It goes first to last. Load. 60 and 3. Project launches October 18th, 2012. First update, October 19th, 1 day later. Oh no. That's depressing. Okay, middle click it is. Three. Middle click, thank you. Okay. Wow. Thanks to everyone backed us over the past 24 hours. We had our biggest day outside of announcement day. Kickstarter alone brought in $155,270, hitting 30% of the goal in just 24 hours. When we launch, remember that the more we raise, the more content I can pack in from the outset, and the louder message we send to the world. The Space Sims are very much alive. Thank you to everyone everyone that backed for the first time or backed again because you're such a big supporter. It makes us proud and humble and determined to make the best game I possibly can, as you all deserve nothing less. As we showed yesterday by listening to feedback on providing Kickstarter as an option, we heard you loudly on the ship specifications. We've had the general specifications worked out for a while, but I've been holding off on sharing as I want some early conceptual work to share along with these descriptions because I believe a picture is worth 1,000 words, and he knows how to sell. But as you would like to know sooner rather than later, our plan is to publish the descriptions once the upgrade feature is functional on the RSI site for the non-Kickstarter backers of the project, which the web guides are aiming to have online by Monday. In addition, we plan to do a Reddit AMA on Monday. We'll provide a link here with that when that is live. Finally, if you go to Starsis section of the homepage, you will see that now connects to our game overview FAQ. This will be the living document we want that we update the game's design and feature list as we describe them, and also will be where FAQs will live. Please check it out. And we have this thank you for or ads Kickstarter video.
Apparently, our site is having millions of hits and is overloaded. So everyone out there, please be patient. We'll try and get it back up when I guess we can. So. I think this is a little harder than I thought. We were completely overwhelmed by the amazing response we got when we announced Star Citizen. But unfortunately, our servers were even more overwhelmed than we were and went down for a few days. So we're just at the tail end of getting it all back into order. But in the meantime, the kind folks at Kickstarter have offered to help out, and we'll be launching a Star Citizen Kickstarter page. And we know there's a lot of you out there that have asked for the Kickstarter option. You feel more comfortable with it. It's certainly more scalable than the solution that we built on our own site here. So we ask you, if you haven't pledged yet, please go and pledge there. If that doesn't work for you because you want to use PayPal or you're in Europe or something, then you can also pledge on this side. In all cases, your pledges will be connected to your Roberts Space Industries membership and account, and hopefully will be all seamless. We certainly will work really hard to try and ensure that. And I would like to thank everybody that's already pledged, that's fought through the numerous glitches and bugs we've had. Thank you so much for your perseverance. To the people that have been trying to pledge and haven't managed to get through, thank you again. We hopefully will be able to accommodate you now. And for the people that haven't pledged yet, I thank you in advance because I really, really would like to build this game. I want to build it with you, the community. I'm having a lot of fun in the process already, reading the forum posts that we have. I've even posted on a few of the forums. And the idea of sort of building a great space adventure with the community is something that's incredibly appealing to me. And I think you guys will have a lot of fun in the process too. So get out there, support us, pledge, and I have some homework to get back to.
Very nice. All right, so that was the first update to the Kickstarter. Spectrum Dispatches. What was the first one called? An update from Chris Roberts. Spectrum Dispatches. A quick update tonight. We'd like to introduce a new feature on the Roberts Space Industries website, the Spectrum Dispatch section. What does this link go to? Nothing, because they broke it. So what they actually are trying to link to is this. And unfortunately, they don't have a unique link for filters. So you can't actually link to it. All they can link to is the com link. But they don't even link to that. What does this actually go to? Copy. Where's it? Copy link address. What does this go to? Okay. So this went to a category just on the site. So yeah, that entire way of doing things doesn't exist anymore. We're planning to fill it out, or fill it with all sorts of in-universe content, the sort of news messages and story characters in the Star Citizen world. Nope. Sorts of news and messages and stories characters in the Star Citizen world would experience. There we go. So a lot of people, I don't know if they know that a lot of the stories that they tell on the Star Citizen site Let's actually, just go to the beginning. Let's see. All these are news posts. There's also when it comes around here. They didn't do a lot at the beginning, but they got going. Star Watch's news. These are all newscasts so far. Building up lore. Literally a writer's guide. Are they in here or are they in a different category? They might have been pushed to a new category. So what category would that be? Serialized fiction. That's right. So these stories are all stories within, like, these would be in comics and in books and in TV shows within Star Citizen. So these are not describing what you can do in Star Citizen, but these are stories within the game, not stories about the game. There we go. All right. One of the first of these is an ongoing serial adventure called not Cardassia. Cassandra's Tears. It's done in the style of a fictional in-universe adventure story, and we think it's a lot of fun. Here's how it starts. UEES Carrier Gemini. Interesting. So this is actually quite late. AO Centauri system. 4 weeks, 4 long weeks since Cal Mason rescued the kidnapped Xi'an diplomat. He was just getting cleared from medical. He had that itch that came from being grounded for too long. Pilots always got it. Almost like they don't trust their limbs to carry them. They needed to move through the universe with wings and thrusters, not arms and legs. Cal's ribs still stung from the blast he took back on Vega, but he didn't care. He had to get out of there. Cal made his way back to his quarters, nursing his side. The last shift of patrols just landed. They passed him on their way to a debriefing. Hey there, Mason. Finally let you out? Cal turned. Penny looked tired, but chipper as always. If there was something in the universe that could bring her mood down, Cal hadn't seen it. Not officially. How is it out there, kiddo? Danger at every turn. You know how it is, she said, and with a wink. Have you checked in with Grandpa yet? Heading there now. Penny jogged to catch up with the rest of her wing. She loosened the band to unleash her flaming red hair and turned. Oh, Cal, she said, backing up. Stop calling me kiddo. I've actually, not read a ton of these. And so that's also going to be somewhere in the series of the Origin, Star Citizen Origins we go through. Super cool. So we can continue reading. Does that actually go to a page? No, that's broken. Okay, so it's actually this right here. Now, there's a very specific, where did I put the Ultimate Timeline? That's a great question. I haven't looked at the Ultimate Timeline in a while, and that's one of my many projects that will someday never be done. Historical timeline? No. I don't know. That is not what I thought I was getting. Thank you. You also didn't actually bring me to anything useful. And none of these links are purple. Alright. Why'd you open a new window? That thing? Where's that? And Star Citizen Tax. Oh, the ultimate timeline right there. Well. There we go. No, it's not saved. Okay. Save that. Thank you. Alright, so it wasn't till here where they called it the UEE. So assuming, yeah, well, so this story had to be post 2790. So this story here, because there wasn't the UEE, it would have been the UPES. That's where it starts, or at least it continues. I really hope they do like turn the serializations into like a show or something. And that'd be really cool. Update 3: Physics, not a dirty word. It still kind of is for a lot of people. There have been a lot of questions about how the game's physics system will work. It is going to be physics light, like Wing Commander, an entirely serious model of Newtonian physics, like more recent games, or something in between. Chris Roberts recently addressed this in a forum post and thought it'd be good to share this background with everyone. I would like a link to that post as well. As someone that was taking physics at Manchester University before I dropped out to make games full time, I can assure who wrote this. Everyone that the physics model is completely accurate and it's full rigid body simulation. I know because I wrote the code. I wonder if this is copy paste because I think this is what Chris Roberts does. I think Chris is the one who yeah, that's who's talking. Chris took physics. I know he was working on the physics grid, so I didn't know he actually took physics at Manchester University. So pretty cool. Let's see. Maybe I should have done a better job in the demo. But if you are flying at a speed and you set your desired velocity to 0, you will see the top front thrusters articulate and fire to slow your velocity. If you watch my demo, you will notice that there is some momentum with the Hornet. When I slow down close to the bridge, it may not move. It may not have been apparent on screen or on the screen, but I can assure the Hornet does not stop on a dime. If you load it up with more mass, like extra weapons, you will feel the effort of this, much like you also do with cargo. Additionally, there is actually counter thrust being applied inside the physics, and if you had your hands on the controls, you would feel it. If you look closely, you will see the inertia of this. The ship doesn't stop rolling or pitching on a dime. There is, however, a very good reason why you don't actually see the thrusters fire entirely accurately. The problem with visuals depicting the proper thrust is that it would actually look pretty horrible. Trust me, this is how I first did it, and this still pretty easy to switch back to, as I'm usually doing some extra work to make the visuals look nicer. So the video he's talking about is this guy right here.
So I'm really excited about the physics, and they're going to be a strong part of the gameplay. So let me demonstrate some of the features of how the physics interacts with how you control. The ship itself is built and designed and simulated like a real ship. So there's 4 thrusters on the bottom, and there's 4 thrusters on the top, and then of course there's obviously the engine at the back. Most of the ships in this universe are going to fly very much like an F-35 would do. They're fly-by-wire, so they take your input as a pilot and crunch it into
It's fine, the wings aren't open in these demos.
Thrusters to achieve what you've asked it to do. So if I want to rotate, or I want to say if I want to pitch like I'm doing now, or I'm going to yaw, or I'm going to roll, it actually pulls
Yeah,
the thrusters
so
themselves and just how quickly.
What he's talking about with the thrusters not moving correctly, they're actually lagging. So you get motion without, so they stop before the thrust stops, and they start after it starts. And he's not doing a lot of articulating, but they'll shut off before they keep going. Basically, just to make it visually correct, but not accurate. And that happens a lot in a lot of like films and things, where they'll try and they'll make something like work realistically, but doesn't look correct. And so they'll disregard reality to make it look correct or feel correct. That's why we don't have, billion frames a second movies, even though our eyes are constantly running. Our eyes don't have a frame rate; they're constantly taking information. That's why better FPS makes better, better frames per second makes a better FPS player. Even though that fact, movies still use a very constant, 24 frames a second? Not because it's accurate to your eye or accurate to predictions or whatever. It is specifically because it looks correct. Your eyes don't have a pulling rate. The reason is because there is no drag in space, even though micro amount of thrust starts the Hornet or any spaceship rotating until you apply counter thrust. So what is really happening is that the flight control system is always applying micro thrust and counter thrust to achieve the pilot's inputs. They result in the thrusters flickering on and off in micro amounts, and you actually not getting a good feel of the general application of thrust. So he was saying something completely different than I was saying, that you'd have this flickering of the thrusters because they're technically applying drag in space, and that's how IFCS kind of works. That's why we have a lot of the movement we have in the game. So they have a lot of flavor onto reality that I'm going to say. For specifically space travel, we're actually getting much more realistic atmospheric travel, probably later next year. But for space travel, they definitely want not realistic space travel. I think I like things to look cool. Come on, we all know you probably wouldn't be engaged in space dogfights at World War II speeds. This is true. You would be sniping things from out of view distance, but it's so much more fun than what the reality would probably be. So what happens when the system is still modeled accurately, but I use the regular or angular linear velocity delta to drive the visual representation of thrust? Here's my code comment. Note the thrust goal is actually the linear velocity delta, desired velocity minus current velocity of the vehicle, and rotational velocity rather than the actual linear and angular acceleration divided by thrust. This is because while accurate is cooler, While inaccurate, it's cooler to see more consistent thrust gives you a visual clue as to what the correctional movement velocity vectors of the vehicle is using. If you just use the acceleration as opposed to the desired velocity correction, the thruster flames would flicker on and off, especially in Wing Commander. In the Wing Commander use case of space where there is no atmosphere to provide drag. Of course, if you pass the actual accelerations to the set thrust goal, then you will get an accurate visual representation of what the thrust would actually do. Hope that clears up any confusion. I will admit that the ship doesn't need to have wings or fans on the front, but the idea behind that is for possible atmospheric flight. This is not a promise of planetary action for the early build, but allows for explanation in the direction. As a ram scoop, plus it just looks cool. Feels cool. Chris Schwartz. All right. We know that right there, that actually did happen, so. Spork! Alright, number 4. GDC Teaser Online. Last week, a number of gold ticket holding fans made their trek to Austin to see Chris Roberts' big announcement at GDC Online. Some traveling as far as England, or from far away as England. They were gracious enough to let us film interviews, which we cut together in a new video available now at the Robert Space Industry YouTube channel. Does Robert Space Industries? No, it does not. Okay. And we're going to go here. Here. There we go. GC Online teaser. So I guess we'll watch these two first. Let me get rid of all those. Let me do them in order. Oh, that's the one we just watched already, so we're good on that one. And then this was the original trailer, so I think we actually have seen this. Oops. I sometimes really wish that we had the game we're working on now would have been a sequel. Because the more I look at this, the more it actually did look pretty decent. But I know they ran into a lot of problems. Not problems, but problems. With these are cool little cinematics that they put together, but these are not, space combat. They had to get the engine, they had to put in the gameplay, but they had to put in the AI, and everything started to build on top of each other, and it got more complex and harder and slower to build things, and so eventually they got to this point where they really needed to build an engine, and even though they were already building on CryEngine 3. They needed to kind of sit down and build out the kind of tech they need to build the game. And in the interim of having that early gameplay and working on the tech they needed to build it, we're technically at the tail end of that still, 10 years later. And the visual just got better and better and better this entire time, because that's what visuals do. For any open project, they get better and better and better. Almost every in-development project I've ever watched grow up, they had at least one major visual update. Like Space Engineers was wild. Space Engineers. If we do images from time. Oh, I can't do custom time. Space Engineers. Was there a 2012 version? Apparently there was. Let's see. That looks really cool. Can just save that for later. When did the first version come out? 2013. Apparently it was 2013. Okay, so I'm looking for block models. So that's a pretty good one. Can you just give me the image? Just need the image. Just need the stinking image. Okay, there we go. That's what the models looked like in 2013. And then if we go to 2023, 10 years later. That's a decent one. Open image and new tabs. This is what the models look like. That's even a terrible image to show off these models. These models are super high quality, and they only get better as you get in game and start like looking at them. I wish I had more time to play this. Let's see. So these are some of the newest blocks. Like, look this one specifically. This one, like, super high quality. And then this is what it started out as. Major visual improvement. We are here. There we go. All right. Before we let him talk, I need to be right back. So, where is the be right back? I don't know. I don't know if I have it. What's this? Just that. And I'll be right back. Let me do that. All right. Where's the file? Oh, yeah. All right, cat, move that way. What do we got?
Hi, I'm Chris Roberts. Ever since I saw Star Wars as a wide-eyed 8-year-old, I dreamt of being a hotshot pilot saving the galaxy or a lovable rogue making my way across the cosmos. It inspired me to make Wing Commander and has influenced everything I've done since then. 10 years ago, after 20 years of making games, I was burned out, so I took a break. But I never stopped playing games nor loving them. And now, I'm ready to come back, and I'd like to show you something I've been working on. But I don't want to build any old game. I want to build a universe. I want to build a game I always wanted to build, but I didn't have the tools to do until now. One that you can fly off a carrier fighting a heroic war on the front lines, but also one that you can muster out and find your own fortune in the stars wherever your spaceship takes you. I want to be able to share this experience with my friends and fight against real opponents in space, not just AI. And I want this to be as good or better than any other game out there. And I want to actively push the boundaries of what you can do in a game. None of this would have been even possible 2 years ago. But with Moore's Law driving PC performance and cost and the gaming community embracing talented developers via crowdfunding, I believe it is possible today. I've never been accused of having a small vision. And so I thought it was best if I share my ambition with you visually. I'm pretty excited by how it's joined out. So why don't you come join me for a sneak peek?
The universe.
What I'm building, the Star Citizen Squadron
Toofy,
42
could you stop making
combination,
noise?
you essentially have both things available to you. So Squadron 42 is the sort of single player experience where you are getting missions. You're in the military, so it's not that open world because you're going to be going AWOL if you decide you want to go off to some other planet. So the idea of it is you serve a campaign, you fly missions, it's branching just like Wing Commander was, and you have exactly that Wing Commander experience with the added bonus of some multiplayer and your friends be able to sort of co-op play with you as wingmen when you fly your missions. But when you finish your tour of duty, you muster out and you're in the wide universe, and then it's open world. You can go where you want, do what you want.
The more I see of the Bangle, the more I will probably be making the Bangle a goal for our org. I just really like it. I like how, and I do like that it is a flying fortress. Like I do still like the carrier-ness of the Pegasus a little more, but Bangle definitely goals there. Definitely goals.
Choose who you want to be. And the other thing that's nice about this is you don't have to do Squadron 42. You can get into the Star Unit. You can basically decide you're never going to go fight in the military. You can decide that I'm just going to be a merchant or I'm just going to be a pirate. I think what we're talking about here has everything.
I wonder when they decided that they were going to make that the experience is completely disjointed. Where Squadron 42, where's his legs go? At that angle, they should be up here. Unless that's like the knee. Their knee would be here, and I don't know. It's just a weird angle, I guess. Just early graphics. But when did they decide that Squadron 42 was going to be? I guess they really didn't for a long time, because that's exactly what they got in trouble with Crytek for. Because the original idea, the original plan, in the contract for the CryEngine 3, or the game license, engine game license, EGL or something like that, they specifically said it was a single game. They were not allowed to license 2 games, or at least they'd have to rewrite the contract if it was 2 games. And around the time they got sued by Crytek, and we'll eventually get there in the Origin series, they were at least portraying the 2 games as separate games. And they were not ready to release yet, so Crytek didn't win. But since they can't retry it again, basically Star Citizen is able to go elsewhere. Plus, it's now Lumberyard, not CryEngine 3, and Lumberyard's open source, so they can basically do whatever the heck they want. But I wonder when in history they decided that Squadron 42 was going to be a standalone experience, because now they've also removed the multiplayer of Squadron because they don't want to do the work currently to make it balanced for multiplayer experience. So they're going to balance it for just you and whatever AI, because if you ever DM'd a game, you have to balance the world to your players, and if you have multiplayers or more players, you have to make the counters harder, and the entire system is just not something they've looked into yet. So we're going to get Squadron, possibly maybe a co-op update, maybe it'll be in a sequel series, not Squadron 42. So it's 1, 2, and 3. Squadron 42, episode 1, 2, 3. Maybe in a sequel series we'll get co-op story mode, but not in Squadron 42.
Made Wing Commander great and has everything that made Privateer and Freelancer great. It basically has both things, and the single player sort of military campaign side sits inside this whole universe in a holistic fashion. The idea is that it should be dynamic. So I've talked about the universe being a living entity and something that's always changing, and it's going to change based on the player's actions. So things that players do will have an effect on the universe, and they'll also be able to become part of the universe. So a good example is, say, a player that's an explorer, and they explore around enough time, and they find a space anomaly, and then they manage to navigate a jump. That jump point and the system that they've jumped into will get named after that player. So like that player becomes part of the history and lore of the universe. And on top of that, we're going to be dynamically adding content to these universe. I'm not interested in having yearly updates. We'll have a team of people that are adding content on a weekly, every 2 weeks basis. So you're starting this system, and you start in the game, and it's got 50 star systems, for instance, and 2 weeks in, a jump point's discovered for another system, and someone navigates it, and bam, we've got a 51st system, and so on.
There you go, precedent, a very old precedent for
one thing I think you'll all
exploration,
be very excited about
finding
is
new
the
planets.
level of fidelity in space, the graphical detail, and the immersion, because it's to a level that I've never been able to achieve before. I'm trying to build a world that is so detailed and has such great texture that you forget that it's a game, which is always my goal when I'm building games. I'll just climb into the cockpit of the fighter, and as you can see, as we're sort of
literally every time somebody says that, I roll my eyes. Whether it's a movie, an experience, a audio, video game, I don't care. Every single time when somebody says, you'll forget you're in this thing, or you'll forget what reality is, or you'll forget you're watching this, or listening through headphones or whatever, it's like, no, I won't. I've never had that experience. If anyone has had that experience, let me know. I would love to know it's a me thing and not a problem with people. That it's just a marketing word that people throw out to make their stuff sound cooler than it is. I've never had that like snap back to, oh, I'm playing a video game, or oh, I'm watching a movie, or oh, this is reproduced audio through headphones or speakers or whatever. I've never had that transcendence of a medium to forget that I'm inside that medium.
Climbing in, there's a huge amount of detail in the cockpit, because one of the biggest keys for me in the next game I'm building is I really want to have that immersion to be complete, and we're going to do a lot of things that will really push that. Everything inside the cockpit operates and moves and works. If I look around the cockpit, you can see
okay.
the display.
Well, it's not only me.
Throttle, my hands on the joystick. The whole idea is we're immersed fully in a cockpit that's fully rendered in 3D. So if you issue a command, you hit a button, you'll actually see your character doing the cockpit. It's all for the immersion. Well, I think immersion is really important for me, because I think that you have to really visualize and create a very believable world. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I always sort of really push the visual fidelity, is because I think that helps with the immersiveness. And the more immersive, the more connected you are to the experience. The more connected you are to the experience, I think the more fun the game itself will be. So an example of that is if we're looking around at our character, we can see that the character himself is about 100,000 faces, which is about 10 times the detail of most current day AAA games. There are about 10,000 faces or so, and so that just allows you to have a little extra detail. The wires on his pilot outfit, the creases in the uniform, and have it really stand up when you come in close and not break down because it's too pixely. So I'm really excited about the physics, and they're going to be a strong part of the gameplay. So let me demonstrate some of the features of how the physics interacts with.
So
how
that's
you
basically
control.
all the other
ship
videos put
itself
together.
is built and designed and simulated like a real ship. So there's 4 thrusters on the bottom, and there's 4 thrusters on the top, and then of course there's obviously the engine at the back. Most of the ships in this universe are going to fly very much like an F-35 would do. They're fly-by-wire, so they take your input as a pilot and crunch it into trajectories and vectors it needs to tell the various thrusters to achieve what you've asked it to do. So
I still
if
think
I
it's
want
funny
to
that.
rotate,
Oh,
or I want
now the
to-
wings
so
are
I
out.
want to
Okay.
pitch, like I'm doing now, or I'm going to yaw, or I'm going to roll. It actually polls the thrusters themselves and says, how quickly can you rotate to the position I need you to deliver thrust, and how much thrust can you deliver? And the thrusters talk back to the flight computer and says, okay, I can get you there in 0.1 of a millisecond, and I give you this much thrust. The whole system is dynamically doing that every single frame and flying that way. It's really cool because what happens is a lot of unexpected or dynamic behavior happens by it. And then, for instance, if we're flying around in a dogfight, one of our thrusters gets damaged, it will affect our maneuverability. And it's not a matter of changing a script or data, it's actually all dynamically simulated in the system. So here's a really great example of the level of scale. I'm going to walk out this corridor and out onto the flight deck. And as you can see, it's huge. The carrier that's in the prototype level is about 1 kilometer in size. It's full of activity and spaceships and people. So one of the things that I'm the most excited by the technology we've been working on is the ability to scale. So we have detail for scale at a human level. So our character is about 1.8 meters in size. Then the same level of detail for a fighter craft that you'll fly, or a bigger craft, which say this fighter craft is 27 meters in size. I'm building a game in a universe that's essentially the universe in the game I would like to play. So it's for gamers like myself. So I wouldn't say that I'm a social, casual gamer that plays Farmville. I mean, I like sophisticated experiences. Well, I'm picking PC over console because PC was what I always used to do in the past, but more importantly, it's because PC is an open platform. PC is always constantly innovating. I really care about the PC. I really want to push the PC to the limit. I think it's a great game platform. I'm really actually quite sad and angry about the situation right now where it sort of feels like, PC games and PC gamers don't get any respect. It's the medium that is the coolest and the most powerful, and that's really why I'm focused on PC. We're going to allow users to design some spaceships and build them and submit them, and if it passes the standards, then it can get sold in the ship dealers on certain planets, and maybe the person that built that spaceship will be earning money from other players that think that spaceship's cool and want to pay them for it. So one of the things that I like about crowdfunding is cutting out the politics and the noise of the big publisher, and you're dealing directly with the people that want to experience the game that you're making. So one of my main goals whenever I make a game is to really immerse you in the world and universe. And I think you've seen that on what we've been even trying on the website today, and this visual prototype is a demonstration of the direction that I want to take and will be taking. With today's technology, I can do that to a level that I never could have done when I was making Wing Commander all those years ago, or even Freelancer 10 years ago. And it's actually really exciting. I feel like I can do something that has the fidelity of a film, but real time, and I'm in it, and that is my dream. My name is Chris Roberts, and I would like to build a universe with you.
May the next 15 years commence. And the recommended video is 2017 live demo. Nice. Okay. I have so many questions. Like, it's exactly what this entire series is about. All right, so last week, a number of gold ticket. Oh, we were over this. That's the video. Let's watch that now. Sandy.
Hi, testing. We're good?
It's like only in this ear.
Are
That's
we
so
rolling?
annoying. Did you know this will take over 10 years? I mean, I have to obviously say no. Am I disappointed it's taking 10 years? No. I can understand. I can definitely understand why people would be upset for it taking 10 years, because they were not prepared for what it takes to build a video game. And they want to play the game, and even in the Kickstarter, they said, down at the bottom, that if they get the amount of money, the purpose of the higher stretch goals is to ensure that the game, as described, is out in 2 years. So there is so much right to be upset at the game taking 10 plus years. Like, we're at 10 years now. Like, it has now been 10 years. It is not a small amount of time. And games that were relevant for 10 years. Games that took over a decade to make. Duke Nukem Forever. I'm going to ignore that one because everyone hated it. Updated. Okay, nice. Diablo took 11 years. Diablo 3 took 11 years, which is kind of like the gold standard for Diablo, and everything's being matched that. Metro Dread's 15 years. Everyone loves freaking Metro Dread. Unreal World 20 plus years. Wow, I don't know about them. Star Fox 2 took 20 years. Holy crap. Psychonauts 2 took 16 years, but that had problems with it, so I'm not counting that one. Duke Nukem Forever, 15 years. Mother 3, another one that people really like, another 12 years. Prey took 11 years, not the fun Morphe one. Final Fantasy 15 took 10 years. Star Citizen, still ongoing since 2010. 10? Despite the launch of the Kickstarter campaign in 2012 as a taste of what to come, a launch date had been slated for 2014 and 16, but the game is nowhere in sight for a decade later. 400 million, I need to update that. Where do you get 2010 from? I want to know where you're starting your calculator and how and why. Nope, 2010. So the IGN pitch video is 12. Does the wiki have anything? Pre-production of the game began in 2010. Okay. With production starting in 2011 and the Kickstarter in 2012. Okay, so interesting. Interesting. So there's like nothing about the original pre-production. Huh. Very interesting. So I guess the demos they've been showing off, that we've been watching, all these stuff up here, was the result of the 2 years of work. Nice. Very nice, very nice, very nice.
Richard, tell us about the Chris Roberts games you've played and about being a Chris Roberts fan.
The first one I played was Wing Commander 2 back in, that would have been about 1992, back when it came out.
I have been a Chris Roberts fan ever since my dad brought home a copy of Starlancer, and I found the copy, and, well, he had to take it away from me eventually.
What do you think about Chris Roberts bringing back PC gaming?
I think it's fantastic. I mean, for a PC gamer, this is at the very least a renaissance for us. And seeing Chris Roberts come back from the movie industry is like, This is going to get better and better and better for us.
Okay, we have 5 minutes and counting till Chris Roberts' announcement. And are we all excited here? We've all got our golden tickets. Yeah!
Please welcome to the stage, Chris Roberts.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm going to build a universe. I'm going to do a PC game like the old Wing Commanders I did, which was if you've got a great PC, this is really going to show it off. You're not going to be able to get this experience anywhere else. I'm hoping that a lot of you want to be in this universe, because I do, and I want to play this game. So I'm going to jump into the game now.
It's definitely one of the things I'd use a time machine for.
Anyone has some questions?
The maneuvering thrusters, can they be intentionally disabled to do like some of the Starbucks style maneuvers?
There will be lots of moves and strategies in terms of how you dogfight.
Very nice. All right, what's the next post? Next post is number 5. Ask Chris anything. We're happy to announce that Chris Roberts is doing an AMA today on Reddit. For those unfamiliar, AMAs, which stands for Ask Me Anything, are a chance for Reddit users to interact directly with interesting figures. Past subjects have ranged from ordinary people with just usual jobs all the way up to recent chats with President Obama. Reddit has been very supportive of Star Citizen already, and we're hoping that Chris' session will help get the word out about crowdfunding or crowdfunding. About or crowdfunding? I don't know. So head on over to the thread and grow Chris about Star Citizen when you can. Join the conversation here. What happened to that thread? Does it still exist? It does still exist. I'm Chris Roberts, creator of Wing Commander Freelancer and the upcoming Star Citizen AMA. I am here to talk about whatever you want. After a hiatus filmmaking, I'm back. Yeah, hiatus filmmaking, I'm back to make the game I've always wanted to make or always dreamed about, Star Citizen. You can learn more about and support here at therobertsspaceindustries.com and also the Kickstarter. So that's just going to, I assume, to the newer site. Yeah. Also, I look forward to talking with all of you. Hello, everyone. I need to log off for the night. Oh, this is the edit. Really enjoyed chant. Blah, 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 blah. All right. Useful links for people already know about Star Citizen. So that's all the stuff we know so far. That's a lot of stuff. All right. Can we put it in old? Can we put it in replied? No. Q&A? Yes, okay. Holy crap, this is a big one. First, I want to thank you for doing this AMA, and also, okay, I think we'll cover this a different day. This is a bunch. I think we'll probably dedicate an entire episode to just going through this. And it keeps going. Wow. There are 8,000 more replies. 800 more replies. Oh, but these ones aren't replied to. Ben Lesnick. So yeah, there's a bunch of crap here. That's always fun. So yeah, we'll leave that for another day. Okay, next one. Meet Martin Galloway. This is the first in a series of posts which will introduce you to a crew behind the development of Star Citizen. Chris Roberts and Martin Galloway go way, way back. They attended high school together in Manchester, England. And Martin was there in 1983 when Chris made one of the first commercial sales to the Optima software. Martin, age 17, Chris, age 15. After a few years at Ocean Software, carving out his legendary status as Commodore 64 musician, Martin came to Austin in 1988 as a contractor to help develop Times of Lore. 2 years later, he returned permanently to take a job at Origin Systems, audio director. From then on, he was responsible for increasing complex audio projects, including sound effects and music. Audio effects, music, and as Sound Blaster took the market by storm, speech sharp-eared Wing Commander fans may recognize his voice as a Kilrathi in the original Wing Commander 2 demo. Martin's audio work at Origin would go on to be an instrumental part of Strike Commander, Wing Commander 3, Wing Commander 4, and others. He headed up the content creation on Origin's first CD-ROM game as a port of Ultima 6 to Fujitsu's FM Tower PC to hold all the digital speech samples for the game. Martin's PC had the largest hard drive in the building at the time, a whopping 320 megs. Martin joined Digital Anvil shortly after it was founded in 1996 and was responsible for the audio of all their games, in addition to earning an on-screen credit in Wing Commander film, a long champion of getting ambient background sounds exactly right. The scope of his work can be best appreciated in Freelancer's vast and varied universe, and his voice shows up once or twice too. Martin's fame predates his work on Origin's classics, though. He may be the single best-known composer for the Commodore 64 and has a rabid following in the community. His chip tunes for the early system are known worldwide and are routinely sampled and remixed today. On Star Citizen, he's back on the sound engineering chair again, creating and mixing everything needed for the GDC online demo shown on October 10th. It's an incredibly complex task, something as simple as the sound the player's boots make while climbing the ladder into the cockpit might require combining half a dozen or so or more samples. He already developed great ambient directional noise for things like the UES Pulse Steeds engines, so that they shift from speaker to speaker and fade away as your fighter passes around them. Its deep rumble confirms you in the presence of something gigantic. In short, every single sound you hear in the finished game will have over 2 decades of Wing Commander and Freelancer experience behind it. Thank you, Galloway. Yeah. Sound design's cool. Sound design's just cool. Wonder if he's still in the project. Martin Galloway. Composer. Wow, that's a very, very old picture. Hasn't put out a tweet since 2012. Was expected twice in Q1 2015. Galloway has since left this post. What post? What post? Huh. And what does this stuff sound like? One hour mix, jeez. Oh, I did some never-ending stories then. Okay, that starts getting annoying real fast. I'm sure it's really good. For what it was. A note from Chris Roberts. This was update 7 in October 25. So we are only like... When was the products kicked off? Like, was it on the 12th? Yeah, I think it was on the 12th. So we're only like 11 days from the Kickstarter launching. So 11 days later, less than 2 weeks ago, I reached out to the gaming community to help me prove that PC gaming wasn't dead, that there was still an audience of the kind of games that I created with Wing Commander and Freelancer, prove that space combat wasn't finished as a genre. I hoped that the answer would be yes. The demand would be there, and it would come together in a way that would ultimately let me build the world I had dreamed about for many years. What I didn't expect was how quickly it all happened. Last night, just 4.5 days past our Kickstarter campaign launched, we passed the $500,000 mark, making it a successfully funded and another Kickstarter success story. As I write this, we are less than 50,000 from reaching the RSI goal of $2 million in overall pledge that makes Star Citizen a go. It's unbelievable. How many days did that say? 4.5 days. Now, they would go on to make 7 million altogether that year, and it only grew from there. Now, if we take this, we're going to draw a couple of lines. I'll get this out. We're going to take this. Well, I don't want to do that. That is not what I want to do. But let's just say they would reach 10 million the next year. Maybe 17 million. So here's 17 million. Right here. Interesting. So this would be... Oops. If they went from 7, and if they increased 10 million each year. Obviously, they did not. The problem with the increase is they started in October, so we're actually going to not do that because it's like only including this is all they had for the first year, so it's kind of unfair. But anyway, I want to plot the average increase, which is kind of hard. So like there's this average increase. But then there's this average increase. And then there's this fluke of a year over here. That's a lot of difference right there. So that is when the last we have all these on the board is 65 million. That is a difference. There we go. That's what I want to do. We turn you back to 0. So we take it over here. That is a difference of 1 inch being about a little. Oops. Yeah, that's not going to do it. Okay. Fine then. 1 inch being about 5 million. Which you go over. Thank you. Okay. Still can't believe how much F8 made in 2 days. Yep. I'm not shocked. So, I guess these are centimeters. So what does that make it? Every centimeter and a half is 5 million. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 25, 30, 35 million difference between projections of early Star Citizen and projections of 2020 in 2021. And that is still what, 1, 2, 3, 4, let's call it 420 million less than the projection of 2013 to 2022, which, you know, even by this, like, this was a jump up. Oops. If I could draw correctly, like, this was a jump up, and this was its own jump up. So, what we're actually going to get this year is vastly different than they've been planning for. So, you can assume that all of this time, even up to, yeah, it's the orange line, even up to 2020 or 2019, they were still planning on, you know, this projection, or at least this projection. Even if it was going to stay, even if it was going to stay making 35-ish million a year. So from, you know, 20 to 30 million a year, or 20 to 40 million a year, right? 20 is back here. 30 million to 40 million, somewhere in there. Like, that's still, they're doing fine. I imagine that's exactly where their projections went. But then this happened. And not only that, so they had to, like, rebuild their entire budget to say, how do we get rid of this much money? And then something happened the next year that now they have to project for this. And then this. And then something happened again. Now they have to project, for this. So it is highly unlikely that we get another 2020, especially since the year we've had. Maybe launch year. Maybe. But even if we just get this blue line, even if we just get, what was that, 100 million? Yeah, 100 million. And I believe by far, let's see what we got. That is 23 million. That is 20 million. So the two biggest months are November and May. With, what is this? December not being a slouch on its own. So we are 22%. No, what's the month? Okay, so that's by month. Okay, so we are 22% down from last year being 8 million in December or October, and we haven't been to CitizenCon yet. That's gonna get way bigger. I imagine they have lots of special things planned. June did very poorly. But so let's do a little thing I like to. And we'll get this back up here so we can do the percentages and stuff. Let's get that up here and get that back up here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna calculate according to last year where we stand. So we are plus 13, so 13. No, plus 13 plus 13. Plus 13 plus 54 plus, no, minus 10. There we go. First minus. Minus 8. Oh, that was a big one. Minus 34, right? Yep. Minus 27. Oh, that was a big one. Of 4 million to 106 million. No, 4 million to 6 million. No, sorry. Yeah, 4 million to 6 million. Yeah. So that is minus 27. Minus 27. All right, now here's where it starts hurting. Minus 40. Plus 1. And so far, we're at minus 22. Minus 22. So we are minus 60%, right? So, and that's over last year. So now we're going to do the other one. Now we're going to do the proper projection year of 2021. So, and this is going to get real hard. So we're at minus, that's not how you draw 6. That's not how you draw 6. 60, that's good enough. Okay. We need that and that. Thank you. So need 8 to, so 4 minus 8. I forgot how to make that a percentage. I don't know if that's correct. No, that's not correct. I've forgotten how to do this. Anyway, is there a way to compare directly? Which years? Hold on. What the heck year is this? Oh, is this the current year? Oh, this is all the years. Okay. This is the funding of all the years then? Pledge increase per day. Huh. Very confused. I have no idea what that does. Anyway, let's see here. Eight. And then this is 4. Okay, so it's divided by. Okay, so I'm just dumb. I've forgotten everything. Okay. So it is this divided by this, expressed as a percent. Yeah. So we're going to need to remove all of this somewhere. There. So it's 8 divided by 4, and then times it by 100. Yeah. So we got 200%, so we're going to do plus 2. We have 4 divided by 5 times 100. No, sorry, this should be at 200%. No, it shouldn't. Because it's a price increase, not a... Right, hold on. Oh, it's a difference in price, I see. Hold on. How do you math? Oh my gosh. Percentage different calculator. There we go. 8 and 4. That is a lot of math. We're just going to use this to do it. Okay, this is what we're going to use. Yeah, so 8 to 4, we start out with plus 50. Okay, so plus 50%. We now are going to go here as 4 to 5. 4 to 5. I'm sorry, no. So we're just going to do minus 25 because that's what I believe what's happening here. Next is 9 to 5. 9 to 5 is 4, 4, 4 to infinity. So we're just going to do plus 44. And then 7 to 3. Yep. 57. Oops. Plus 57. 19 to 13. 1, 9 to 1, 3. 31 plus 31. We are well far above last year. And we're just going to go to October, and we're going to include all of October. Now we got 7 to 6. 7 to 6. Calculate. 33 plus 33. Let's see. 4 to 2. It's going to be 50. Plus 50. Nope, that's 550. 3 to 5. So we only made 3 to 5. That's a minus 66. Make it 67 just to be as fair as possible. Plus, oh no, not plus 1. 5 to 5. That is on par, so nothing happens. 6 to 8. 6, calculate, that is 33, so another minus 33. So, we are minus 60 above or below 20, 22. But we are positive 140 in 20. Oops, those are just too big. Over 2021. So we're doing fine for sure. Is it going to be another 2022 year? No. I don't think so. But I think another 2022 year is coming. Whether that be the Squadron release year or the 4.0 release year. Don't know. Maybe it'll be the year after 4.0 release with major changes. I don't know. I don't know when. I'm not an economist. I don't know. Just save that just for future research purposes. Go away. Thank you. Go away. Thank you. All right. Now, what were we talking about? Ah, yes. I'm proud to represent this because I am tremendously humbled by the incredible community that has rallied on my side. Not just the donors, which have been astounding, but also the stories and the creativity I've encountered interacting with you in the comments and on the message boards and elsewhere. Like me, you have all seen Star Citizen, no matter what you all may have called it in your head for many years. And thanks to your collected efforts, I'm going to build it for you. Heck yeah. I have now 2 pieces of information to share with you tonight. The first is long-awaited design document about Star Citizen's 5 play ships. Ooh. No! Ship plan. Comlink. Ship plan. Okay. No, I know way the way on this. You got any of that stuff? Nope. Well, let's just do this back when they post it. So bad. No images? Still no images. I probably won't be able to save the images then. Hey, we got one with images. Heck yeah, let's go. Bang. All right. Actually, let's try this. Let's go back from the where we currently are. That way we can have the new UI, because the old UI hurts my eyes. Why does it keep capturing the same site? Going back in time. Are we actually going back in time, though? Because I don't think we are. Yeah, it still says September. I remember this era early on. I was a broke school kid, and slid in at last minute between Kickstarter and original store page. Early days were a different site than RSI site we know today. Can we start scrolling, please? Why does it just not want to move? Ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. 21, it didn't work. 2020 didn't work. 2019 it didn't work. Apparently it's been broken a long time. This is a lost page. Hey, this is gonna post. Is that a thing I can actually go to? $2048. I remember that image. Can't make it to auction? Why is it live? Ooh, schedule. I like the yellow. Interesting. Okay, we're gonna stop that detour right here. I didn't find it until, and I'm sad I didn't find it till late 2014. I really wish I had found it on the Kickstarter and had, you know, the $48 or so to put towards it. That is my, oh, that's a really cool edition. I remember seeing that. What are we at? 2016? Yeah, I remember that. Oh, yeah, the drop down with the thumbnails. I remember this. Heck, I remember seeing that. Oh, man, I liked this site. It was a little very sci-fi UI. How it all dropped down and had additions and then went up and stored away. Very nice. So this only exists in old form, doesn't it? Yep, it must. Oh, man. I think I saw this version very briefly. Obviously, because it's, you know, late 2014. Well, about early 2014. Wow. So yeah, this was the 2014 skin. Okay, late 2013. No, don't really direct me to pledge. All right. I guess we go with the earliest. Let's do this blue one. I don't know what blue means. Let's try. All right, here's what we'll do. Apparently, it only exists in this, which makes sense because it's a header folder. So, anyway, Star Citizen ship development document. Note to the reader: this is a living document used by Star Citizen team to develop these spaceships you'll see in the finished game. We're sharing them with you in hopes of giving you a better understanding of how the design ideas behind the ships you are paying for. Better understanding of the design ideas behind the ships you are paying for. I imagine that with that disclaimer or with that note, this is actually the early ship matrix is what this is. I imagine that's what it is. We'll have to see as time goes on. Big disclaimer, these are our current specifications on paper. Some of these is likely to change during the 3D design and game balance process over the next 24 months. Despite this, they should give a good indication of relative features and abilities of the 5 initial ships that are available to early backers. Continents, general information or general overview, how engines work, upgrade modules, hardpoints, weapons, weapon manufacturers, guns, self-propelled weapons, ships, ship manufacturers, and ship information. General overview. Ships in Star Citizen or in the Star Citizen universe aren't just pretty shapes. They are fully functioning vehicles with hundreds of components, many of which move and articulate as you imagine they would on a real spaceship. Because of this, when we design the spaceships of Star Citizen, we want to do more than create something that looks cool. We have to actually think about how the parts of the ship will fit together, how they move. If a missile pod or weapon folds into a fuselage, we have to make sure that there is room for it. We have to worry about the ergonomics of the cockpit or living quarters inside a bigger ship, how a gunnery or ladder folds out to allow the pilot to climb in, how a door or canopy cantilevers out. In short, we have to do industrial design and engineering as much as we do aesthetic design. This attention to detail extends to things like the engines, the various ship systems, avionics, life support, and various modular upgrades, and the weapons. And that is still something that sets Star Citizen apart. Still, no game tries to do this crap. Unless it's Space Engineers, in which case you have to do it because you're building the ship. You don't have the luxury of making hidden compartments or stuff just phase through each other. Because if you did, people would use it. Because it's stupid to try and design a ship with real-world constraints of space. And almost no sci-fi out there would work with this thing. There's a big problem with I think it's the original Enterprise with how they have the warp core built out. It's either that or the Enterprise D. I don't remember which. I think it's the original Enterprise. How they have the warp core tube thing, the elevator wouldn't be able to go down the neck of the ship. So they just didn't do the work. And a lot of Star Wars ships have that problem too. Like, it's so egregious in Star Wars that the cockpit on the TIE Fighter is rotated 90 degrees, depending if you're looking from the outside in or the inside out. And the Millennium Falcon's a great example that I can't spell. There we go. Here. This was the original problem with it. So you had the walkway into this curving hallway, and you had that come out there, but that's supposed to be over there at that angle. So nothing lined up on this thing. And they've done a lot of work in the past few years to make it work. So now we have this, it goes over there. I think they just scaled the thing up, and obviously they had to make the bridge not its weird angle, so it comes out straight now. Yeah, this thing was wild. No. I want to view all, thank you. Is there any other better notated bits about it? No. Best visualization of seeing the different sizes of the Millennium Falcon exterior and interior. Yeah. So this thing just needs to be one segment closer, and it would have worked fine. But still, you had the main compartment. So basically, the exterior was way smaller than it should have been, and that was in the wrong spot. And they did this thing that they just don't do for a lot of sci-fi ships, that they do more so with more sci-fi. Well, I was going to say more sci-fi games, but not really, because like Halo, unless you're driving the ship, they don't care what the sizes are. But Star Citizen, again, they do a lot of this because they have to. Well, no, they don't actually have to. They could make missiles come out of, just some invisible void that clips into everything in the ship. Because they can say, hey, just don't interact with anything until we say fire. So they could do that, but they don't. Excuse me, what? Sorry, this is a game I'm following. That apparently got a news. All right. How engines work. All spacecraft's performance is based on a linear series of engine components, which can be upgraded in thousands of possible combinations. Pilots will treat their engine systems like their PC, adding modifications to increase the performance, upgrading the engines as though it were a CPU, and even overclocking them at risk and risking flameouts. Not sure what a flameout is, but I am upset. There is more things happening in October. Apparently, Stormgate is getting a closed alpha in October, and we have CitizenCon happening this weekend. We have Sea Skylands coming out on the 24th. Just like, guys, lay off October. October Star Citizen month. Get out. Okay, intakes, modifiers, engine, thrusters. Intakes are the hydrogen ram scoops on the front of the spacecraft, which fuel it by gathering space-borne hydrogen. Upgrades alter the effectiveness and the profile of the vehicle. The more effective a ship intakes fuel, takes in fuel. There we go. The more efficient its engines. The trade-off is that unless countermeasures are installed, this also increases the radar signature. The appearance of the ship is altered as well. More primitive intakes could look like physical fan blades. Others glow different colors as heat capacity increases. Modifiers are a generalized slot for any kind of tech that increases. There we go. Now I can read it. Overall performance of the engine. The list includes engine coolers, exhaust systems, overdrives, afterburners, overclockers, and other similar systems. Different ships can have different numbers of modifiers in a chain. The Aurora has a single modifier slot, and so a pilot must decide between an afterburner and a cooler. That's funny that they thought the afterburner was going to be a specific addition. The 300i has two. The pilot has more options. The engine is the core. The engine is the core power plant of the ship, which is not true because power plants now exist. Engine output varies. Engine output varies depending on manufacturer, model, and type. Type includes fission, fusion, antimatter, etc., which I don't know if we actually have a basis for that in game currently. Each selection offers you a different base performance. Engine model example: General Fusion 3000, Merlin Aganaya, L, Korolev Atlas 3, Suncom Omega. Jeez, names, man. Hey, they're more they're more imaginative than a lot of other stuff they've done. Thrusters. Okay, well, do we still have the difference between engines, power plants, and thrusters now? Have to look that up. Thrusters are the end of the chain, the physical output point of the engine. They modify the overall engine output, burn at different rates, impact the range, increase or decrease the radar profile of the ship. You might pay extra for silencer thrusters, which don't give off such a large drive plume, etc. Here you will see the significant visual difference, different size nozzles, different colors of thrust, etc. Thrusters are defined by two values. It's thrust rating, TR, which determines the amount of thrust it can deliver. The bigger the number, the larger and more powerful the thruster. A 10 rated thruster would be used on a cruiser's main engines, and a 1 rated thruster would be a maneuvering thruster on an RSI Aurora. You can normally fit a thruster of the same or lower rating, but you couldn't attach a 5 rated thruster to a 3 rated thruster slot. Most ships have a combination of a few higher rated thruster slots for the main engine thrust, at least 4, but usually 8 lower rated thruster slots for the maneuvering and retro thrusters. The maneuvering thrusters are used to change the ship's orientation as well as adjust overall velocity vector. Retro thrusters arrest the ship's velocity. Frequently, a front-mounted maneuvering thruster will also perform retro thrust or retro fire duties. The second important value for thrusters is the articulation type. Fixed doesn't move. The thrusters on the Apollo lunar lander would be classified as fixed. Then there's our jointed thrusters. These are rigid nozzles that can rotate on one or two axes. After this, there are flex thrusters, which can articulate on one or two axes, but aren't rigid. Think of these like nozzles on a Harrier or F-35. Finally, there are vector thrusters, which have vector flaps that help direct the stream of exhaust. As an example, the Hornet has one 4-rated vector main engine thruster, 4 2-rated flex maneuvering jets, with the front two also performing retro duties on the top, and 2 rated jointed thrusters on the bottom. There's 4 on top and 4 on bottom. I assume that's supposed to be just 4s. Upgrade modules. A ship's upgrade capacity defines its ability for a ship to add additional modules or systems to the base hull. Some upgrades, for instance, an enlarged cargo hold, will require more than one upgrade slot. The number and combination of potential upgrade modules is nearly limitless, but some examples include enhanced cargo hold. Alters your ship's overall cargo capacity. These come in different flavors. One might give you more room. Another might include an electromagnetic barrier that hides contraband from police scans. Additional bulkheads increase your ship's capacity for taking damage. Available in different materials. Plasteel, Durasteel, Isometa, etc. Avionics increase your ship's targeting range, render foe identification speed, depth of field, etc. with any number of internal computer hardware updates. Refinery tools. Larger ships are capable of tractoring in spaceborne junk and asteroids. With a refinery lab aboard, your ship can reduce them with their core components, increasing immediate resale value. Gun capacitor. Hey, capacitor. Increase the amount of energy your ship can shift from engines to guns at any given time. Very cool. See, capacitors were thought of way back in 2012. Sort of. Just very, very different design. What are we at? Oh, we are just past 2 hours, so we're about to wrap up. Jump drive. If you're going to travel from system to system, you'll need a jump drive. Jump drive range from a journeyman model for ordinary pilots to complex explorer models that increase your chances when charting new star system. Another option is a stealth model, which reduces your jump flash, which makes it easier for you to travel undetected. Shield generator, available in thousands of makes and models, each of which can be chained or tuned to a specific pilot's preferences. Standard shield generators provide X protection at Y recharge for Z energy usage per second. Other models might reflect particular types of guns, i.e. a 20% chance of deflecting an energy blast, but weak against physical shot, and the like. And still others might impact a ship's stealth. A strong forward ramming shield offers an option to players who want an alternative method of dogfighting. Note that all of these upgrades also have trade-offs. The ability to shift more energy to the guns also decreases it from engines and shields. An increase to cargo hold means the maneuverability or speed is impacted, etc. Hardpoints. Every ship has hardpoints on it, on which a variety of different weapons can be mounted. Each hardpoint has a classification. A lower classification can always be mounted on a higher classification hardpoint, but not the other way around. A fixed gun. This is class 1 fixed gun. This is your standard forward-facing laser, neutron cannon, particle gun, etc. Class 2 articulated gun. This gun, think of the guns in Freelancer or a smart weapon found in later wing commanders. Class 2 hardpoints are rarer and more expensive, but they allow guns to rotate on an arc rather than fire point blank. Class 3 pylon. This is where you mount missiles, ECM units, radar pod, drop tanks, additional ammunition, special scanners, etc. Class 4 turrets. This uses the same fixed guns as Class 1, but mounted on a separate area of the ship which may be crewed by another person. Turret slots can also mount pylon-type weapons, i.e. a tractor beam or a chaff dispenser. A lot of people really wanted this system, and this very, very, very open system, instead of what we currently have with a very much more locked down system. I imagine we'll get closer to this before launch, before like version 1.0, but not all the way. I don't think we're going to get a refinery tools, like you have a X ship, so you can just stick a refinery in it. I think it's going to be much more, if there's a module that does that job, kind of like the Galaxy came out, that's how modularity is going to exist. And also, we also got, well, this entire system is done for because we don't do size or classes anymore. Well, not like this. We do gun mounts, utility mounts, and I don't know if utility mounts is still a thing, because tractor points are one kind of mount, the same as mining lasers are another kind of mount, and fuel hoses are another mount. So I don't know. It seems there's the gun mount, and every type of weapon has its own mount. So I don't think this kind of putting tractor beams on other things will be a thing, like this says. Especially melting all these things on pylons. I don't think that's a thing. All this stuff is internal stuff. So we might get this, but this is more tied to modularity than the hardpoint system. Weapons. Weapons in Star Citizen / Squadron are split into two major categories: guns and self-propelled missiles countermeasures. Weapon manufacturers. Bearing. Terra-based weapon consortium outsources to a lot of designers and subsidiaries to be one-stop shop for all your defense needs. Think of it as a conglomerate of Springfield Arms and General Dynamics. They make guns, missiles, tanks, dropships. I'm listening. Bearing, making ships. I wonder if that was retconned. Do I have Galactopedia? Yes, I do. Huh. There's a Bearing spacecraft. Yeah. Nothing is listed as a spaceship. But assumably, they make spacecrafts. Now, this doesn't have it because they don't have anything. But on the Galactopedia, which is the most up-to-date information, like this is as far as we know canon. They build a variety of items, weapons, and vehicles, and they are listed as products being, well, spacecraft weapons, computers, shield generators. So the products say that they don't do spacecrafts, but this does. Who knows? Who knows? Let's see, where we at? Missiles, tanks, dropships, sentry drones, etc. Mostly for the UE, but there are civilian models usually favor quantity of production over quality. Oof. Pilot models, P4AR, standard issue rifle for the UE military, about a basic and recognizable as the modern M16. Also comes with the P4SC, a more compact and collapsible carbine version. Klaus and Werner, some government contracts, but mostly personal defense company, almost exclusively handgun, rifles, and shotguns, both energy and hard ammo. Part of the model 2 Arclight handheld laser made famous by Kaylee Ferris sidearm on the hit vid show The Frontier. Associated Science and Development, ASD, high-end weapon company. Visually, their stuff is very expensive. Usually, their stuff is very expensive and exclusive. Mostly energy weapons, but also some specialty classes, distortion cannons, railguns, shredders, etc. Popular models gained notoriety with the unveiling of the EE6 electron cannon. The blast would polarize the electrical charge on an atomic level, causing all sorts of destruction as well as some ugly, gruesome deaths consequently, they have a somewhat tarnished reputation with the public. Interesting. Talon Weapon Systems. Kershaw-based munitions manufacturer focused mostly on missiles, bombs, and torpedoes. If it exists, there's a Talon that can blow it up. That's funny because Talon's also the ship from the Tavaran. Joker Engineering, small startup company founded by an electric engineering whiz kid named Barlow Ellis, burst into the scene by creating a specialty weapon. His weapons are generally favored by criminals and pirates. Because of their unusual applications, such as the beacon bomb designed to simulate a distress beacon with customized distress call. Guns, design philosophy. Guns are an exception to the more is better rule that applies to all other upgrades. Looking back at the original Wing Commander games, there's a clear jump. You had the original games where there were between 3 and 8 gun types, and players had a clear feel for each one. And the later games where there were 10 to 20, and they all felt lightly different colors of the same thing. Anyone can tell you which their favorite gun loadout in Wing Commander 1 or 2 was, and it will be different for each person, whereas few can tell which gun the ship in Wing Commander 3 Forward even had. So, like those earlier games, we want to design a few iconic gun types and then build on that canon, pun intended. Over time, variation can be added with modifiers, gun silencers, gun coolers, and overclockers, and different companies or subsidiary models of the same weapon. Perhaps the ASD mass driver is distinctly inferior to the bearing model, but developing a new gun, say, introducing the first particle cannon should ultimately be treated as a major event in the game world. Very cool. Hope they actually stick by that. Gun types at launch, aka 3.0. Energy weapons, bearing, MKV, MK5, laser cannon, Clarkson Industries, C-54 electron gun, A and R fixed mount plasma particle blaster, intergalactic research concepts, phase array tachyon cannon. I don't even know if that got in for 3.0. Ballistic hard ammo weapons, Klaus inverter mass driver, ASD PN-21 scattergun, bearing, Ripper, gauze gun, Maxox, 35mm dredge gun, fires AP, sabot rounds. Self-propelled weapons. How far do we still have to go? Been a long time. Where's the next header? Pretty far down. And we've already gone half an hour overboard. So we'll go here, I guess. Self-propelled weapons. Note that all self-propelled weapons are mounted on a pylon-based launcher, which can be attached to a Class 3 Hello, Citizen Scott. How's it going? You caught me just at the end, just as I decided we're going to be wrapping up soon because we're already late. Ori Class 4 Hardpoint, the same general class of self-propelled weapons, will be produced by any number of companies, and we will encourage players' loyalty to their brand. Maybe a more expensive name brand missile has a little more of a kick versus cheap store brands and even cheaper discount missiles that have a higher rate of failure. All right, and with that, we will put a pin here for next Tuesday, which is weird to say because that's post-CitizenCon. We'll be back on Friday doing PTU stuff, assuming the PTU is still up by then, because that is literally a day before CitizenCon, and we'll have to see when they post it. If we do get in, well, either way, if it's on the PTU or it's on live, we'll be going with the Hull C around to the jump point gates or jump point gateways stations, documenting what stuff they sell and buy there, and we'll be doing some cargo runs. That is the plan. All right. So thank you everyone for coming. Let's see if we can actually figure out what button to hit. And like I said, we'll be back doing this next week, next Tuesday. We'll be hopefully on here not Tuesday. This is Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. Next Wednesday we'll be here doing Research Live and question and answer. And then next Tuesday we'll be doing live gameplay. And then next Friday, assuming there's no PTU, we'll be doing basic news and things. Probably doing some recap about CitizenCon. There we go. All right, so I hope you have a good evening, guys, and I will see you guys hopefully on Friday. And definitely tune in for the 48-hour live stream starting noon EST Saturday on both YouTube and Twitch, where we are currently watching. So long, guys. Hope you have a good one, and as always, be kind. Bye, everyone.